Okay, good. Hi, Greensboro. So good to be here and to see you guys. So I want to start off with a story this morning, you know, right where we left off. There you go. Have you heard the one about how an old-time sailing ship was exploring and trading in new lands and found itself becalmed in the doldrums just east of South America? The Spanish galleon sat for days, baking in the torrid tropical sun off the coast of what is now Brazil. With their ship unable to move in the windless sea, unable to reach land and a supply of fresh water, the men seemed doomed to death by dehydration. Their only hope was that another vessel might come near enough to hear the cries of the dying men. As good fortune would have it, a ship did come upon them, close enough for the local seaman aboard her to deliver an amazing piece of information. They were sitting in the mouth of the mighty Amazon, just where it empties into the Atlantic. Although they couldn't see land, their ship, with its crew dying of thirst, was floating in fresh water. All they had to do was lower their buckets over the side. Though they believed themselves to be helpless, they were literally surrounded by, floating in, all the fresh water they needed. So let me ask you a question, also not a new thing. If the crew of the becalmed ship had died, would they have died of thirst or lack of awareness?
Lack of awareness.
Interesting. I know all of us, including me, have at one time or another felt at sea, adrift and helpless. When we're in the midst of these doldrums, we thought there was no way out of the trouble we'd gotten ourselves into. We were paralyzed by the belief that there was no possible way for us to have what we needed. Little did we know that we were quite literally surrounded by and swimming in what Charles Fillmore called substance. Unity sage Eric Butterworth put it this way: life asks of us only that we flow with it, that we do not resist its inexorable bubbling forth, that we do not crawl into dark corners of insufficiency and erect barriers. The secret of every kind of prosperity is that it comes through us, not to us. What he's saying is absolutely mind-boggling. There is a limitless source that is constantly issuing forth creative life energy. And this creative substance is constantly flowing toward us. This substance is pure, unformed potential. In order for it to find expression in the physical world, it must land in the hearts and minds and souls of people like you and me. We need both the awareness and the willingness to take hold of it. So our job is not to create the flow. Our job is to be open and receptive to the flow, to allow it to pour into our minds and hearts until it fills us with a deep and abiding sense of safety and well-being. Only then are we equipped to be conscious co-creators. Our main question changes from how to what. We ask, what is ours to do, rather than how are we going to do it? Because we know the how will be taken care of by the universe. Now we are ready to bring the wealth of unformed life energy into manifest form in the world. From this place in consciousness, divine ideas bubble up just as they are needed. And we're able to take hold of them and move forward with them with courage and take action on them. See, it's really true. prosperity comes through us, not to us. Good news, right? Absolutely, if we can handle it. If we can accept deep down that circumstances do not dictate either our lack or abundance, that the cause of both abundance and lack is not out there somewhere, but inside us. No, this is not hard to grasp intellectually. I learned this my first week in Unity. I've now spent the last 30 years trying to live it. To show how challenging this is, let's look a little bit more closely. So if the flow seems to be slowed to a trickle in any area of our lives, the first work then is in consciousness. Our first job is to own that the problem is us. Not out there, in here. The second is to abandon the search for either cause or solution out there somewhere. And the third is to challenge the validity of the beliefs and attitudes that have produced the results we are having. All of this we do in a mindset of openness, curiosity, and willingness to see things differently, to expand our awareness. We've all got to do this work because we've all been programmed with the belief that abundance is something we're supposed to work incredibly hard to achieve. We have been so totally conditioned to place our faith in appearances, especially the appearance of lack if you listen to the news, that we don't even see that everything we need is right here, right now, and always has been. We are like those sailors dying of thirst while floating in a sea of fresh water. Believing that circumstances determine whether we are happy or depressed, rich or poor, we wear ourselves out chasing after cures for our symptoms. Sometimes we find something that makes us feel a little better for a while. But unless there is an inner change, new thoughts, new feelings, attitudes, and beliefs, we will soon recreate the same dis-ease we had before. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Like everything in our benevolent universe, difficulties arise as wake-up calls. They are for us, not against us, right, Carla?
That's right.
Urging us to stop trying so hard to force our will on things and come back into alignment with spiritual law. Deepak Chopra wrote an absolutely wonderful book. I think it's been 20 years now, maybe 1993 or so. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. You all know the book?
Yes, ma'am.
In it, he talks